My name is Amanda Fulford. This is assignment 1 for EDE4103, Multi-Level Early Childhood Pedagogy and Curriculum. A child is a light bulb waiting to be lit up. I came up with the metaphor, a child is a light bulb waiting to be lit up, whilst having a light bulb moment myself. It took a lot of thinking and analysing to find out what I think is a great metaphor to explain the way in which I believe that children learn and develop. Being that a child is a light bulb waiting to be lit up, to me means that children and their brains are like light bulbs. The power that charges those light bulbs is the want and the need to learn new things about the world, in addition to demonstrating what their already acquired knowledge and beliefs. There is what I like to call a light bulb moment, which is when what the teacher is trying to teach the children is absorbed by the children, that they have already confidently connected what they are being taught to what they already perceive to be true. Thus, a light bulb moment, normally recognized by a simple aha from the children. This is also noticed when the children's faces go from slightly confused to happy and fully engrossed in the lesson, as they will generally contribute more when they have a full understanding of the task and what is expected of them. Here are my results of a 14-page survey on the Philosophy of Education inventory. This survey is a great way to find out which theorists and philosophers you relate to and which resonate in your own teaching philosophy. I found that according to this survey, I am predominantly in the humanistic, which makes me more of a facilitator of the student's learning, teaching through experience learning, open discussions, individual projects in addition to collaborative learning and self-assessment. After completing the Philosophy of Education inventory, I then went on to write down my mind map. When writing the mind map, I envisioned how I viewed a child who would be in my future class. Through this thought pattern, all of these key words came to mind, such as being independent, individual, curious, capable, and playful. Then they branched off each other, some of which even interlinked with others. I feel that all learning is interlinked, and that there is a lesson to be learnt from everything that we. The metaphor a child is a light bulb waiting to be lit up encapsulates my beliefs of children and how they learn in many ways. I believe that there is a lesson to be learnt in everything that we do, as everyone in the class brings a different quality or experience to share with the rest of us. The child being a light bulb means the bright light is on when the child completely gets and understands what they are being taught. When the light is off, when the child is still in the learning stage, where they need to practice and guidance to help them to turn on the light again. So in saying that, the education is judged as successful or not, with the light bulb being turned on and off throughout the entire education journey of the child. I believe that when students finally understand a concept, that light comes on within the student's own head, which is what I like to call a light bulb moment. Hence why I envision as a child as an individual light bulb, or that a light bulb goes on and off in their head. I need to stimulate their thought processes to enlighten their interest and motivation to learn and engage with the lessons and their peers. Here are my 5 principles of education. 1. Children are capable and confident learners who show curiosity in the world around them. 2. Children respond well to play while learning. 3. Children all learn at their own pace and in their own unique ways. 4. Children respond well to positive recognition of their work and efforts. 5. Children require balance between structure and freedom to be successful in their learning. Now let's explore these in more detail. Principle 1. Children are capable and confident learners who show curiosity in the world around them. When looking at Principle 1, there are 4 key parts that stand out, those being capable, confident, curiosity, and always learning. I believe strongly in this principle on the basis that for students to be able to learn fully and successfully, that they need to have these 4 qualities supported by their classroom teacher, as well as the participation of themselves and that of their peers. Children have a natural sense of curiosity and confidence in what they do. Whether it is right or not is irrelevant. If we as teachers and educators can foster, support, and nourish this curiosity and confidence, it will help the students to be more capable in their everyday learning. The relevant theories that relate to Principle 1 are that predominantly of constructivism. Jean Piaget developed what he called the 4 stages of development. Each child goes through each stage of development when they are developmentally ready. These stages have to be completed in order, as at each stage of development the child deals with similar issues and learning, but each level deals with this on a higher and more complex level. This relates to the fact that children are capable and confident learners by the way in which they must master each stage of development on their own and in their own time before they're able to move on to a more difficult skill. Maria Montessori is another relevant theorist, as she believes that children are seen as inherently curious and learning driven. She also emphasizes on a holistic approach to development and learning, helping the whole child develop rather than the child only striving to achieve one set skill or piece of. Principle 1 links to my metaphor in the way that if the lamp and the light bulb are used and viewed as 2 separate components, then the light bulb will not work. Whereas if we view the lamp and the light bulb as a whole object instead of different parts and components, we are more likely to have success when trying to turn the light on. Much the same as the teacher, student, and education. All of these components must work together for the student to confidently master the education process. Now, putting all this into practice within the classroom setting is to encourage the students to explore their natural curiosity whilst in the school environment. Teachers need to allow students many opportunities to explore this curiosity as it appears, to have the classroom designed in a way that promotes children to be capable and confident learners, and opportunities for the students to direct their own learning, which means that the teacher pre-plans a whole range of learning experiences so that the students can make up their own minds as to which learning experiences they wish to participate in and where their interests may be more focused on. In addition to stocking the classroom with a wide range of resources for the students to have access to throughout the day to stimulate their interest, which then also stimulates the learning process. Principle 2. Children respond well to play while learning. There are so many benefits to incorporating play into the learning experience with children. For example, there are many skills such as social skills, self-esteem building, physical skills, as well as behavioral skills such as turn taking, just to name a few. Children naturally like to play. It is what they like to do most of the time. Children do not like to work all day and be bored. This is when they disengage from the learning and may start displaying disruptive behaviours at times. If the children feel like they are playing, they are more likely to engage in the learning, actively participate, and ask questions. This will ignite the light within them to want to know more about what they are playing with and engaging in. The relevant theorists that relate to Principle 2 are that predominantly of Jean Piaget and Lev Vygotsky. Lev Vygotsky believes that young children are curious and actively involved in their own learning and discovery, as well as the development of new understandings. McLeod discussed these in comparison that Vygotsky placed more emphasis on social contributions to the process of development, whereas Jean Piaget emphasized on self-discovery. Lev Vygotsky also believed that play is instrumental in achieving mastery of the object and furthering the student's symbolic ability, which means achieving the desired results and moving on to another challenge. I love this quote by Jean Piaget. Play is the answer to how anything new comes about. Now I feel that this can be applied to any age. As children, we play to explore and learning occurs naturally throughout this play process. And as we grow and develop, we still play with new ideas when we are trying to learn and make sense of new experiences and knowledge. Principle 2 links to my metaphor in a similar way that Principle 1 does. Dr. Stuart Brown says that nothing lights up a child's brain like play. This can be understood in the sense of light bulb moments, throughout their play experiences. Through my years of working with under fives, I've found that once play is introduced into the classroom, the children get excited and eager to participate, to give it a go. In comparison, if I was to offer the same lesson but stand out the front of the class and talk about concepts and theory without the fun play component, I don't believe that the children would learn as much as they would if I facilitated a play-based fun lesson. Now, putting this into practice within the classroom setting. To encourage the children to participate in play-based learning activities. To plan and organise the classroom to provide opportunities for students to engage in play-based lessons. To ensure that lessons are fun and engaging to promote the feeling in the students that they are having fun and playing while they're still learning, but to the students it doesn't feel like learning. Which means that the teacher must have the classroom set up so that it is aesthetically pleasing to look at, which makes the room feel fun. Prepare and plan play-based lessons and activities that will engage the students and encourage them to participate because they just feel like they're having fun. The learning comes whilst the students are engaging and having fun. Principle 3. Children all learn at their own pace and in their own unique ways. The intent of Principle 3 is to bring awareness to the fact that all students learn in their own ways and some find it difficult to learn in certain ways. We are all individuals. We all have our own way of learning. Some people learn best by the teacher standing out front of the class delivering the information, while others learn best by participating and immersing themselves into the subject and doing activities. Some people learn best by reading the information in a quiet space at their own pace. The relevant theories that relate to Principle 3 are predominantly that of Maria Montessori and John Dewey. The Montessori approach to learning emphasizes on active learning, independence, cooperation, and learning in harmony with each child's unique pace of development, which I interpret the need to give each individual child their own time to complete tasks and learning. Children should not be rushed to complete tasks, especially if they have not fully grasped the understanding of the new learning. Dewey also believes that everyone's way of learning is unique, that there is no one way that all students learn. Some students learn best by sitting at a desk and being spoken to by the teacher. Others learn best by doing and having a hands-on approach to their learning. John Dewey lived what he believed in, which was the learning by doing and the importance of context in education. Context in education is important because if we do not know why we are learning a skill, then why are we doing it? And the motivation to complete it will decrease. Principle 3 links to my metaphor in the way that all children have a light within them, all of the time. Some children the light turns on a lot faster and they grasp concepts a lot quicker than others. While some children this light takes a little longer and more practice before it will turn on. And in turn the child has grasped the concept that the teacher is trying to teach them. For some students, it all depends on the way in which the information is delivered. As you can see in the image on the right, these students are learning while interacting with the program on the interactive whiteboard. Now, putting this into practice within the classroom setting. While some students excel in the old-style traditional classrooms, like the ones I remember as a child in the 90s, where the teacher is out the front delivering the information that we must learn. These days, students have more variety in the way in which they can receive this information, such as via computer classes, listening through headphones, small and large group work, as well as sometimes the option to having lessons outside, plus many more. Principle 4. Children respond well to positive recognition of their work and efforts. The intent of Principle 4 is to demonstrate how rewarding positive behaviours and active participation will actually encourage and inspire students to work harder and achieve results. Rewarding certain behaviours with external stimuli, such as stickers, can be influential in the teaching and learning of students. Abrams supports that using rewards to encourage correct behaviours such as task completion and correct answers. Examples of these rewards can be positive feedback and acknowledgement in front of the class, stickers, treats, and warm and fuzzies. The relevant theories that relate to Principle 4 are predominantly that of Burhurst Frederick Skinner. Skinner used positive reinforcers for favourable outcomes or behaviours. For example, in the form of praise, stickers, merit certificates, etc., to guide and encourage the appropriate outcome or behaviour. Skinner believed it was not what comes before the behaviour that influences, but rather what comes directly after. For example, the rewarding of positive behaviour with positive feedback or stickers have more influence on the student trying to repeat that same appropriate behaviour or skill to then be rewarded again. When students are rewarded and recognised for their hard work, we find that they try harder to get another reward, their peers try harder to get the same recognition and reward. The students get excited and engage more actively when there is an enticement of a reward for hard work. Linking this to my metaphor is like complementing the lamp for working or being aesthetically pleasing. Students like to hear compliments and positive feedback as it encourages them to keep up the great work. Now, putting this into practice within the classroom setting. This can be as simple as starting with verbal positive recognition when students do or achieve desired results. Then we can move on to bigger rewards and enticements as the needs appear. So, for example, sticker charts and star charts. Then, for bigger accomplishments again, can be Student of the Week awards, awards from the principal on assembly in front of the whole school. Principle 5. Children require balance of structure and freedom to be successful in their learning. When looking at Principle 5, there is a prominent influence of Rudolf Steiner in the way that there is opportunities for the structured lessons as well as the freedom for the students to make their own choices about their learning. There are key components that stand out from this principle, these being allowing children the time to be free to develop their creative side in order to develop their whole self. Ensuring learning relates to everyday tasks to give a sense of belonging, such as looking after their belongings and the resources that they are using. Teachers provide some structure to the children's day by having routines, joint conversations with students around their interests. The relevant theory that relates to Principle 5 is predominantly that of Rudolf Steiner. Rudolf Steiner believed that colour is important in helping children's imagination thrive. He also believed in balance of artistic, practical and intellectual teaching as well as an emphasis on social skills and spiritual values. When talking about Rudolf Steiner, some other teachers may say, "Aren't these just the schools where children do what they like?" And the response is no. They are the schools where children like what they do. Having enjoyment in their learning in turn helps the students learn more whilst they are having fun. Principle 5 links to my metaphor in the way that we don't need a fancy lampshade to make the light bulb work. It will still work just the same if it doesn't have all the fancy trimmings. Which is the same for children. They don't need constant access to computers and technology. Having lessons with these can be beneficial, but also having lessons without them can also be beneficial. Now, putting these into practice, keeping in mind Rudolf Steiner's influence as teachers, we plan for the consistency of care, ensuring that all children are valued and accepted for who they are. Plan and provide classroom that ignites the students' curiosity. Go back to using more natural materials. Engaging students in activities that they can relate back to their daily lives, such as routine, taking care of resources and own belongings. With the routines ensuring there is open communication with the students to ensure that we are facilitating opportunities for the students to explore their own interests. So in conclusion, I feel that the metaphor of a child as a light bulb waiting to be lit up is quite fitting due to the fact the light bulb represents the child and its brain, and when it receives and understands the information or lesson being taught, then it lights up. It is so satisfying as an educator to see the light come on and the children excel in their education. I feel that I would provide a well-rounded approach to the way in which I view children and their educational needs. Thank you.